the 40,000 miles that this movie has traveled, there are thousands of prayers for thousands of reasons for the healing of our people. And when we take that medicine, as we know, of all those prayers and all the caring, then those prayers will be in this drum. All the prayers come before. Just like right now, we know we are living on the prayers of our ancestors. They knew things was going to happen. They've been praying for us, and here we are now. And so, it's not just our prayers for ourselves, but the prayers of other people that have prayed because they have lost their children too. And their prayers are in there for the healing that no one else has to experience, what they experience. So this will be the 7th string added to the 100 drums. And when we keep on praying and not give up, cannot give up on this healing. The ones that are drum number 50, it will be easier for them because of this day, because of the prayers that will go in the movement. So on behalf of the Well-Brian movement, we would like to transfer the voice of that drum to your community. Let that drum for your people.
I told these guys, no, I'm going to have to learn how to sing. But I want to say, Miigwech, the drum is a very, very powerful healer. The drum, and it really brings communities together. There's a youth conference that we'll have here again this April, and we're going to invite a man here. His name is Tapasanakut Ganu. His English name is Peter Kelly. And he came here a couple of years ago when we had a tragedy here in Red Lake. He attended the funerals, came here to support the community, and he told a story then, and I wouldn't be able to do the story justice. So we asked him to come back every year and share that story with us. And the reason why we asked him to do that is when he was here at one of the supporting the community, he said, I want to sing a song. And he sang this song when everybody was just really reeling from what happened. And when he got done singing that song, he asked some of the elders in the community, in the area, he said, do you remember that song? And there wasn't any elders there who knew the song. And some of them were spiritual leaders here. And he said, the reason why I ask you why you remember that song, he said, is because that song come from here. Long, long time ago. He said, now we use it in the Maday, we use it up in Lake in the Woods in Canada. He said, that song came from this reservation many, many years ago. So now, he said, if the people here have forgotten that song, that says something about what's happening here at Red Lake. That means that those things need to come back now. Because what left here helped many, many other people in other areas. And eventually everything comes back around and it starts to come back to you at some point. So it's I know it's not just sheer coincidence that these things are starting to come back to our people now. And he told a story. And it was one that we want him to come back and share again this spring. And there's a song that goes with it. And it talks about Red Lake and how two great Indian nations came in contact with one another. And they didn't just run into each other and start killing each other. They talked and they deliberated and they met. And they basically said, we want to share this area. We want to share the resources. We want our Indian people to live together here. And they talked and they met and their leaders talked and met. And they came to a determination that there was not enough resources to support all of these people. There was not enough to everybody to live here. So they went back and they decided that they were going to go to war. So they went to war. And there was a lot of lives that were lost. There was a lot of heartbreak and despair, a lot of mourning, fierce battles. Many lives, many families lost their fathers and their relatives and their young men, and even some women and children. And the fighting was so fierce that for many, many days and months, the people were reeling and trying to recover from this trauma that they experienced. And even the water in the lake where the fights were, there was blood in the water, on the land and on the rocks. And they were instructed to go to a place where they would find a sacred stone and make these pipes. Then they would bring those pipes back. Both, eventually one tribe pulled out. They suffered a defeat, and the other tribe established themselves. And they were instructed by the Great Spirit to make a drum and to use those songs on that drum to help the people who were hurting, to help the people who were suffering, to help the people who had lost loved ones, who could not get over that grief and that pain and that loss. And those songs survived for many, 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 many years. And that Musqueam, I think when they talk about Red Lake, that's what they're talking about. So the spiritual part of our existence as Indian people here at Red Lake, there's also songs that go along with that. There's ceremonies that go along with that. And there's a drum that at one point was here for that. Songs. And those young men in the community, singers, they requested that they be taught this song. So there was a meeting of singers in the community, and they relearned the song. And then now we found out that there's other Indians around this area who also wanted to learn that song. And so in the spring, again, we'll meet at the youth conference again. And that next generation of people are going to start bringing those songs back and using them. There's a reason why everything comes back. It doesn't just happen as a coincidence. There's a reason that things happen. And we just have to find out what the lesson is and what we're supposed to do about it. So we'll talk about that in the springtime, and we'll use this drum for those type of gatherings. I myself, from this point, will ask our elders, and I'll also ask these gentlemen here what to do, with this special gift. They'll give me instructions on what to do, and eventually as a tribe we'll ask our elders what direction we should take and how to use that. So I want to thank you, and this is a very, very special and powerful gift that we received. Look what it does. Look at these beautiful young men over here. The direction in their lives that drum is going to have the impact on their lives. That's a good thing to see. That's carrying our traditions and our way forward in the future. So thank you, and to all of the people, I know someone made this drum and prayed about this drum, and there's probably other people who are responsible. Want to also thank them, and when you go back to wherever it is that it came from, and send our appreciation to everybody involved. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Buck, for beautiful words. I took them as teaching. It's always, it amazes me, that when I listen, finally at this time in my life I begin to listen. telling me how to listen, or they're telling me to listen, but they never told me how to listen. So finally,